Ian Garry is back this weekend. He takes on Geoff Neal. And look, guys, Ian Garry. I've made videos on him before. I spoke about how he's a cock. I spoke about all that, right? Look, I need to apologise to him. I've watched more interviews. He's kind of explained the whole situation. Obviously, people are asking him loads of stuff. It's a bit weird. I'm never going to say the situation's not weird, but he's not as bad as I thought. He's very annoying to a lot of people, though. People hate confidence. They hate him talking. He fumbled. He fumbled the bag. He fumbled he could have made one of the biggest moments of the year at the press conference. He could have stood up and he could have demanded G. Neal was going to get beaten by a cock. He could have done all this and he could have said, kiss my balls, to the crowd. He could have shouted to the crowd something more than, boo me, you're all here to see me. You're all here to be talking about me. He could have done something a lot more fun, a lot more interesting. I don't think he's very good under pressure. And we've seen it in his UFC debut. We've seen it. I mean, his performance against Neil Magny was phenomenal, but he didn't take much risks. Darian Weeks barely beat him. He got dropped by Son Kanan. When I beat D. Rodriguez in the first round on a smaller card, no one was really talking about him then. I want to see how he looks tonight, and I want to see how nervous he is. I think he'll be doing it for Layla. Fair play to him. He'll be doing it for his wife. He'll be coming out there with a point to prove. I want to see this. He's really missed an opportunity. He could have become a superstar 2 days ago at the press conference on Wednesday, but he chose not to. He chose to sit back and he chose to take the easy way out, I think. That's exactly the right wording. I think he took the easy way out on the press conference. He might just want to go out there and let his performance do the talking. And if he goes out there and he batters Geoff Neal, that would be incredible. That would be that would be absolutely amazing. 15-5 Neal versus 13-14-0 Ian Garry. I like how they've given him this fight because it's not a massive jump up. Ian Garry's number 10 fighting number 8. That means he can have a few more fights before a title shot. Do you know what I mean? He can build that record more, build his highlights more. He's 6-0 in the UFC. I've got Ian Garry winning this, guys, and I want to... Neal fought Shavkat. Ian Garry and Shavkat used to fight together. He was previously scheduled to fight Neal about a year ago. Before the Vicente Luque fight was made, whatever. Look. Neal's going to come after him, and I think Ian Garry's gonna put on a clinic. I think he's going to win unanimously 30-27. Like, truly, I do. I think he's going to teep him a lot. He's going to scoot around the outside, jab and cross hook. I think Neal's going to land glancing shots on his tempo, and I think he's going to hurt him. And I've got Ian Garry winning. However, I could very easily see Neal knocking him the fuck out. And a lot of people are predicting that. But you do not get blinded by hate. I made a video on this 7 months ago. The way Ian Garry approaches fighting and growth and learning and tactical little things is incredible. It's better than, I think, 90% of the roster. His mindset and outlook on growth and developing as an athlete, as an individual, he's in a very happy place right now, I think. And he's riled up. He's got a point to prove. I think he's going to win by decision. However, I think he's got a very small head for the welterweight division. Now that sounds very weird, but I feel like, this is going to sound weird, I think Ian Garry belongs at 165. I don't think he's a 155er, I don't think he's a 170 pound fighter. He can make 165 no problem. If there was a 165 division, Ian Garry would be perfect for it. The same way like a Tony Ferguson or a Donald Cerrone or a Kevin Lee, at this point, maybe a Dustin Poirier would be good, and Nate Diaz would be good in that type of division. They're kind of in the middle of two divisions. And Ian Garry at that weight class would be perfect. I think his neck and his head is a bit frail and a bit fragile. He's not a fragile man. He's a fucking fighter. He's a professional fighter. A little man. Henry Cejudo isn't a fragile man. He's a tough little guy. But what I'm saying is, taking a smack, the way Shavkat Rakhmonov took a smack off of Neil, is very, very difficult. Shavkat's a beast. He belongs at 170. Ian Garry is a 165-pound fighter. I think if you rattle Ian Garry's head enough, he's got a little tiny pea head for that division compared to Usman's head or Masvidal's head or like Covington as well. He's quite small. Leon Edwards also has a small head, but the rest of his body is like big, you know. And I feel like Ian Garry would be very, very well suited because he's not muscly like Leon Edwards is, you know. Not that he needs to be. I think Edwards would massively outclass Ian Garry, but Ian Garry's mindset and outlook on growth and improvement, he improves every single fight. He's a tactician. He's very specific. I think Garry wins this by decision. I'm gonna throw this out there. A very dominant decision. I think Neil might get close. I think Ian Garry might hold him up against the cage, stomp his foot a little bit, knee him in the thigh. A very like Muay Thai shoot to box type thing. You know the way Oliveira does it? He can hold people against it. A bit of how he did to Tony Ferguson. A little bit like Oliveira Ferguson, except not as much grappling heavy approach. I think Ian Garry might get underhooks. He might put on a flawless clinic. However, there's a big danger in this fight for him. Not as big of a danger as if he fought Luque. I feel like if Vicente Luque can adjust on the fly against a striker that's not a wonder boy, not a Bilal Muhammad in terms of can mix and wrestling. But I'm worried for Ian Garry in this fight, but I am also confident at the same time. I think he's in a good place mentally now. I think he needed time to truly settle. I don't think he's going out there to... I think he's going to go out there and he's going to get booed massively. He needs to suck in that energy and say, okay, watch this. His walkout song is actually called Layla, which is going to piss everyone off, but that's brilliant at the same time, you know. I'm excited to see what he brings to the table. I'm very curious to see... I'm very, very curious to see how he looks. And I think he can go out there and look good. And I think he's going to chew up the leg of Neil, throw his body kick, throw his head kick as he does his teep, jab, underhooks. But all Neil needs to do is get in close. Left hook to the body, right hand over the top. It's there all the time. Feint the left hook and go a right hand straight to the body. You need to wear on Ian Garry. You need to, if you let him do his little jump inside to side, you need to wear it on. Feint the left hook, go straight to his body. Let him know I'm here in the pocket for you. Ian Garry's slip back right hand is lovely. I don't think he's good at... I do not rate Ian Garry's hooks. His right kick to the body is phenomenal. His left kick to the body is phenomenal. I don't think Ian Garry sets things up very well, though. And by saying that, he's not a Sean O'Malley who sees things and 5 minutes later sees it again and capitalizes on it. Ian Garry goes out there with a game plan. He executes the game plan. And I haven't seen him adjust very well on the fly just yet. You know? He adjusted to the Song Kinang knockout. He slipped back out the way of that left hook when it came at him again a second time after being dropped with it. He made a mental adjustment because he was made to pay by that. And I think if you hurt Ian Garry with something, he'll know it's coming and he'll adjust to that. And I know he can do that, but what I mean by he can't adjust on the fly is by his offense. You know, he can adjust defensively very well because he's a very passive fighter. He wears you down. Then he starts unloading a little bit. I'm excited for this, guys. I'm excited for the Ian Garry fight because of all the speculation, all the stuff behind Ian Garry. I'm going to see Ian Garry wins by decision. Can we just talk? He could have been so much more hyped up. He wanted to shake hands with Jeff Neal. Like, why? Why would you want to shake his hand? I don't know. Subscribe, folks. Let me know what your guys' opinions on this fight are. Yes, I still think he's a fucking weirdo. He's a cock, but I do want him to win. And on the mic after, obliterate everyone. Call out Colby Covington for July. Get that fight done. That would be perfect. Covington versus Ian Garry. I actually think Covington's got a really good chance in that fight because he's more scrappy. I want to see Ian Garry in a proper scrap. And yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens. By the way, folks, I'll be making immediate reactions to all these fights later on tonight, and I want to see what you guys have to say. So don't forget to subscribe, comment, like the video. Let's get on with these fucking fights.